Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Sports Shorts Daily. Ronnie Rants alongside TK, Tommy Krysan, who's joining us today from Court Street Cafe in Port Allen. Hope everybody had a wonderful weekend. It is Super Bowl week. We're less than 7 days away from the Seahawks taking on the New England Patriots. Let's go Hawks. Santa Clara, California, the home of the 49ers. Interesting thing about the 49ers, over there, has been a lot made in the last couple of months, really. I mean, it's come out, but this has really been a lot made about it. Where they practice over there in Santa Clara is right next to electrical facility, and the 49ers have more injuries of different natures that could be related to that electrical facility. They actually moved their field, I think their workout facility, a little bit away from it like a year ago. But it's an interesting, a lot of former players claim that, hey, there's something going on in the water and the soil and all that over there at the 49er land. So something interesting to keep an eye on over there. I don't know. California's going to fall into the ocean at some point, right? I mean, it's imploding as a state financially, morally, every other way. And I don't think San Francisco, one of the great cities of all time, they now play at Santa Clara. That's the equivalent, Tommy, of like, I don't know if I'm saying this correctly, maybe like if the Saints played in Laplace, something like that. Like it's not downtown San Francisco. It's not even Metairie. It's out there. And so it's a beautiful stadium, but it's a wild situation. Seahawks
Uh,
still a 4.5 point favorite. TK.
yeah, and it's 45.5 on the over under. I kind of like the idea of the Laplace Saints. I'm sure Laplace would like that a lot. It
What's
boosts
what's
their
the
economy a bit.
what's the deal on the favorites for the MVP? What's the line?
Sam Darnold is like plus 125. He's the betting favorite as of today, as of this morning. And all games have prop bets. Super Bowl's been known for the prop bets, the over under on the length of the anthem, the color of the Powerade they're going to pour on the coach. But I'm going to look each day. We do sports shows daily this week. By the way, we'll be today, Wednesday, and Thursday, not Friday this week. There's a prop bet over and under on the largest lead during the game, the largest point spread differential, and it's 14 and a half. Then there's an over under on how many players will attempt the pass. The over under is 2.5. Obviously, there's going to be two because both quarterbacks are going to throw a pass. But does a backup get in? Does a punter throw a pass on a fake? Does a fake field goal? Does a receiver reverse or halfback pass? I guess you'd have to study the roster, see how many receivers and running backs might have been quarterbacks earlier in their younger days. It might throw a pass. So we'll see. But going to be fun Super Bowl week. It's going to be exciting, even though, for the folks, for the Saints fans and the folks in New Orleans, the Patriots, Seattle, there's still a lot of storylines. It's still the Super Bowl. And by the way, Super Bowl 60.
You like the over on that 2.5 prop bet.
I
The
do.
number of people that throw the football.
I got to see the odds on that. I just heard it listening to Dan Patrick. They're live from the
Yeah.
Super Bowl all week
I,
on the way
I I
here this
think
morning.
I think if you take that bet, you're not necessarily betting on the fact that you think they're going to run a reverse pass. I think you're betting on the fact that one of these quarterbacks might get knocked out for a series, or somebody get hurt, and another guy need to come in there for a few plays. Especially Sam Darnold. I mean, Darnold was a guy that was questionable a couple of weeks ago in the playoffs with abdominal issues. So. Who knows what's going on. He could easily take a hit or throw a ball and wince, and they need to come out for a little bit. Um, the bet I do like, I do think this game is going to be close, even though I think the Seahawks are going to win. So if I had to, I'd probably take that 14.5. I think I'd take the under on the 14.5 spread in this game. But the Drake May is, I think, plus 225 on the MVP. So you get a little more value with him. And if the Patriots win, or whichever team wins, it's most likely going to be a quarterback gets the MVP, but not all the time. Um, all right, TK. Not only is the Super Bowl this week, looking forward to that, Super Bowl 60, but also we're getting closer to college baseball for the Division I level. LSU baseball starting on the 13th. But we did start JUCO and NAIA and Division II and all that did start this past weekend in a lot of places. including one of those places was right here in Louisiana. LSU Shreveport got their season started. Remember, they were at the White House like LSU. They went 59-0, set a record. No one had ever won that many games at any level of college baseball in a row. But they're off to another hot start.
They are 6-0 this season. Had a come from behind 2-1 win this weekend in their sixth game of the year. They were down 1-0 late and ended up winning. Got a fly out to cap the game. I saw the highlights, and what I liked is they didn't act like they won, the World Series or something. They all came out of the dugout, just like a normal win reaction, But I guess because they were about to lose. Hey, the baseball guys say they're going to lose sooner or later. They play up in Sterlington, Louisiana, which is right outside of Monroe. Starting this Friday, there's a tournament up there. Several teams involved, including the Pilots of LSU Shreveport, who are on a 65-game win streak right now.
65-game win streak. By the way, they knocked off fourth-ranked Hope International 4 times this past weekend. They played the fourth-ranked team in NAIA. Hope International beat them 9-8 and 2-1. Also beat them 5-2 and 19-8. But their schedule does not get easy. The next couple of weeks, they play like 4 different ranked teams, including the 19th ranked team. Let me see here. 19th ranked team in the country. Who? Hang on, I want to make sure I'm getting this right. But
International something?
yeah, hang on one sec. LSU baseball, LSU Shreveport baseball, the Pilots. I'm looking at their. I had their schedule here, just a minute in front of me. I don't know what happened. I got to reset on my phone, and it's got everything in a different spot than it was before, so it's got me a little thrown off. All right, so here's the deal. They played Hope International, beat them 4 straight. This Friday, as you mentioned, over there at that beautiful facility in Sterlington, they take on the 25th team in the country, Central Methodist, at 2:30. But then at 6 o'clock, they take on Mid American Christian. Tommy, you know who pitches for Mid American Christian and is
Fabian
going to throw against
Hernandez.
them on Friday?
Fabian Hernandez. I took a stats
Fabian
there. I thought I
Hernandez.
remember him telling me that. But the pitcher of the year for the Baton Rouge Rougarou in the Texas Collegiate League last year, and a great kid. Doesn't speak
Yeah,
English real well, but he's one of my favorite pitchers ever because he throws strikes. Everybody knows we talked about his complete game, 9 innings, 2 summers ago when he threw 73 pitches with a shutout and a 2-hitter and faced the minimum 27 guys because of some double plays and a pickoff.
yeah.
Fabian Hernandez. I think he'll be the one. If anybody can beat the Shreveport Pilots, it's got to be Baton Rouge Rougarou player Fabian Hernandez. And am I correct that he's not eligible to play for the Rougarou this summer?
He's not. Yeah, he'll. This is
Can
his
we get
final
him like an
season.
online class in September so he can be eligible?
Yeah, so in order to play in the Texas Collegiate League, which of course the Lake Charles Gumbo Gators and the Baton Rouge Rougarou are in, you have to be in college and have eligibility remaining. So if you're in your senior year, you're not eligible to play because obviously you don't have any eligibility remaining. But Fabian Hernandez, the greatest pitcher in Baton Rouge Rougarou history the last 2 years, phenomenal pitcher and the best pitcher in the league last year. He is going to face LSU Shreveport on Friday. If they win the Friday afternoon game, they'll be 66 won 66 games in a row. Fabian Hernandez will be trying to end that streak. Looking forward to that one. That'd be something. That'd be a
I,
storyline in a big
do you
way.
know if that'll be streamed on Friday
I'll try to find
somewhere?
out. I'll let you
Find
know
out, and maybe
before
we can
Thursday.
announce
Yeah.
people. Again, we're going to do the show Thursday morning.
Mhm.
I have to be out of town Friday, and let's make a note to look that up or figure out a way. I'll even do the live stat thing, to see how Fabian's doing, and
Yeah.
I'll go pitch by pitch with him. That'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah. I tell you, if I wasn't riding in Orion and we had that radio show Saturday morning, I mean Sterlington's about I don't know, about probably about 3.5 hours away from Baton Rouge where I'm at, and I would make that, but that's a 7 hour round trip. I don't think it's going to happen for me, but anyway, great story, and obviously we will keep an eye on that, and I'll try to find out where if someone does, if it's a Rougarou fans want to watch that game, I will find out if that's possible. Um, Last night, I was at an event, Tommy. It was a fundraiser for Fort Cancer at the Supper Club, where like 30% of the proceeds were donated to Fort Cancer fundraiser that's taking place in April. Um, and I helped MC an auction deal, but I was sitting at the table with some new LSU football transfers and Jordan Seaton, okay, the big 5-star offensive lineman that LSU signed uh, from
Colorado.
Colorado, and of course they chased him all around. His uncle wanted him to go to Oregon. He wanted to come to LSU. Kids from Georgia, blah blah blah. Famous, we know about how Lane Kiffin brought him in. He had a long visit, 3-day visit, and then he jumped on a plane to go follow him to Atlanta and all that. Well, he ended up landing his man, and I sat at the table with Seaton and talked to him. Awesome fella, big personality. He turns 21, like, I don't know, next week after. And he's this giant of a man, makes me look small. And I played 2 years at Colorado with Deion Sanders, and I'm a Deion Sanders fan. I respect what he's doing, and so we were talking a lot about Prime. But I mean, this guy is going to be a fan favorite, Tommy. Great smile, great personality, dude gets it. Mature beyond his years. And if he's as good as they say he is, Jordan Seaton's going to be a heck of a player for the Tigers in the fall. And one of the guys there, Brian Wesley with Wesley Construction, who was one of the tastemakers, one of the guys that were doing the fundraising to help raise money for cancer. I asked him, came over to the table and asked him, said, hey, are we gonna be running the ball next year? We're gonna be throwing the ball, and Seaton, like, with a straight face, said, we're gonna be able to do whatever we want. He said, we got enough talent, we got a good team. We're gonna be able to sling it, run it. We're gonna be able to do whatever we want next year on offense. I'm telling you. And so, of course, that fired up some LSU fans that were in the building. But great event, and it was neat to meet that young man.
Cool.
Also met Husan, the quarterback from uh,
Sam Levitt.
no. Quarterback from South Carolina. I mean, from USC, from Southern Cal, the freshman transfer, who
Okay.
actually is the starting quarterback right now until Sam Levitt gets
Yeah,
healthy. I
'cause
mean, Sam.
Levitt won't be at spring practice, or he won't
Yeah,
participate in spring practice. He might
right.
be out there, but
So I mean, Sam Levitt's got to get healthy first. But anyway, really neat event. All right, TK. You tell us a little bit update on what your little Pelicans bet's doing. For those that
well,
follow along, TK bets against the Pelicans every game with the spread. What's your
they
record
were
right
getting
now?
6.5 against the 76ers the other night. 76ers won by 10. So I got a W after a 5-game losing streak.
Okay.
24 and 27 is their record against the spread. They're 13 and 38 overall. Tonight they're getting 6.5 in Charlotte against the Hornets. So Pelicans going nowhere in a hurry, but as we said, I'm gonna keep tabs on this for the remainder of the NBA season.
I tell you what, that game where you won against the 76ers, the Pelicans and the 76ers uh, were tied up with 4.5 to go. And then the Pelicans ended up losing by 10, and
Then
you ended up winning your bet. That was a pretty good win, because I was checking the score on my phone, and I didn't think you had a chance when they were tied up with 4.5 to play.
Hey, got it done. Got it done. Hey, Ronnie, how about 45-year-old Justin Rose? He's almost as old as you. Wire to wire at the Farmers Insurance opening out at La Jolla, Torrey Pines, famous municipal golf course. Anybody can walk up and play. Well, you probably got to get tee time. Wins by 7 shots. Course tournament record 23 under. Went wire to wire. Kepka made the cut. Struggled with those small putts. He made some 10, 12 footers, 3 putted from 2 feet on Saturday. And now the PGA turns
Been
to
there,
one of
done
their,
that. Got the T-shirt, Tommy.
yeah, you got more than one T-shirt. But here's the other thing: the tour moves to the Waste Management Open, which you were at last year. Was it last year you went? And of course, the 16th hole, which is really a stadium,
Two
just
years
to
ago.
play 2 years, a stadium to play a par three. That'll be coming up this week. They start early on Sunday because of the Super Bowl, so that the TV coverage can be done basically by the time the Super Bowl kicks off. And so, yeah, the golf fever's starting to hit. Yes, it was a little too cold to be outside. I watched basically every shot of the tournament yesterday. So that was fun to see. And of course, the PGA Tour will be in New Orleans in late April. The Live Tour will be here in the summer. And the reception for Koepka, he interviewed with Jim Nantz in the booth on Saturday. Said, and a lot of crowd favor. He'd make a putt. He got a lot of applause, a lot of a roar. Of course, the return from Live Golf. And he said, everything's been super. It's great to compete with the best competitive players. There was a big quote from Justin Thomas saying, glad to see Koepka wants to play with the best players week in, week out in the world. You know, kind of, I don't know if it was all concocted, but kind of sounded like, hey, let's push this narrative that, you know, Koepka is back. Of course, we know Baton Rouge's Patrick Reed, who played golf at U High, is coming back a little later in the year. So a lot of golf on a cold weekend in South Louisiana.
Well, look, I mean, iron sharpens iron, you know, that old saying. And I think there's something to be said for Koepka playing against the best week in and week out. The field is deeper and better on the PGA than the Live. There's no doubt about that. And I think, you know, at the end of the day, it will make you a better golfer. You may not make as much money. You may not, you know, you're going to have to grind more. That, you know, but it will make you a better golfer. Now that said, doesn't surprise me, Tommy, that fans are cheering on Brooks Koepka, right? Good looking guy, got a good story, rags to riches kind of thing, in the sense that everybody knows his off the field issues and his health issues and all that kind of stuff. And so, and the fans get it, right? There's not anybody in that crowd that would, hey, you want to make $200 million to go to the Live Tour? Yeah, sign me up, right? I mean, so everybody can relate. Everybody understands why he left to go to PGA. By the way, guaranteed money and more money than you're going to make on the PGA Tour, or non-guaranteed money. I mean, the PGA Tour, you have to win every week. You have to make the cut. Like, you literally start with zero, other than sponsor money, which in his case, he does get a substantial amount. But like, you cannot blame any of those guys that went to the Live Tour when the Saudis were throwing around that kind of life-changing money for your generation and generations in your family after you. So from a fan standpoint, sure, the Live was so irrelevant. And Brooks Koepka didn't go away. You saw him in the majors, and he won a major in the last 3 years. So because of that, I think, yeah, it's a over thing. You might have a few hardcore guys like Justin Thomas and others that were the face of PGA and were very involved in the and hated to see some of those guys leave, and maybe they took it personal. But even probably the majority of the players on the PGA Tour, they understand, because they'd have done the same thing had they been offered.
I get it. And one comment that kind of sums up how good Justin Rose was this weekend. After the Saturday round, he had a 6-shot lead. Joel Damon was in second place, finished second, third, or fourth. They asked Damon, "Do you have a shot tomorrow in the final round?" He said, "The only way I have a shot is if Justin Rose forgets to set his alarm clock." So that'll tell you how good Justin Rose played this weekend.
Boy, let me tell you, Torrey Pines, one of the prettiest golf courses in the
Oh,
country. There's
golly, gee.
no question about it.
Yeah, that's some expensive property.
Yeah,
But it's
no,
a
yeah,
public
all
golf
right.
course. Again, if you're going to be in La Jolla or near San Diego, you can get on the phone and get some tee times.
I would assume it's a lot like the public courses over in Scotland and Ireland, where you got to call a year in advance or something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah,
You know,
yeah. It's probably
um,
not like City Park in New Orleans.
yeah, very much not like that. Uh, all right, TK, what else we got going on?
Well, LSU men won a game in overtime the other day at South Carolina. Hey, it's a road win. It's a win. Their second conference win. They'll host Georgia this Saturday. I'll be at that game. The LSU women beat Bama by 40, 103 to 63. That's
They were a
remember they were
16. They were a 16 and a half point favorite. They won by 40.
They were 0-2. They lost the first two SEC games. They're now 7-2 in league play. They've won 7 in a row. They'll host Texas Thursday. Jumping ahead, Valentine's night, February 14th, LSU, South Carolina, be the game of the month in women's college basketball. ESPN Game Day, they have a one for basketball, not quite as great as popular as the one for football. It'll be in Baton Rouge that day. So a couple of things there. And, of course, LSU baseball opens that weekend with that game on the 13th at 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Well, TK, you mentioned that on the 14th at 7:30 p.m. in the PMAC, February 14th, that LSU South Carolina will be the game of the year. That's only if LSU beats Texas. You know what I mean? If
Well,
LSU plays Texas this Thursday, and they now pick up the third win. They'll drop to fifth, sixth in the league. So I get it. It's LSU, South Carolina is the big brands and the two coaches that don't like each other and all that kind of stuff with Staley and Mulkey. But at the end of the day, all it is, it's like LSU, Alabama this year. LSU Alabama wasn't LSU Alabama of 2011, 2019, whatever. Some years it's just LSU and Alabama. Well, LSU and South Carolina is only LSU and South Carolina to the point where it really makes a giant difference if LSU takes care of business this Thursday night against Texas, who's a top 10 team in the country. So that's going to be a hell of a game, and folks need to get out there and pack the PMAC.
They do host Texas, so let's hope they can get that done. Speaking of LSU, Ronnie, good news over the weekend. Garrett Nussmeier named MVP of the Senior Bowl. The only time I was around Nussmeier was at the Baton Rouge Rougarou Golf Tournament last spring at the Island over in Plaquemine, and I visited with him a little more than hello, and I was really impressed with him as just a guy. And by the way, he's got a pretty good golf swing as well. I watched him tee it up on a par three and rip one in there, I believe number 8 at the Island. So good to see he was the MVP of the Senior Bowl. He was talking to Heisman in August. They beat Clemson. What's going to go on? And then, we know the injury or the not healthy situation. And, some people saying he may have became a third-day pick in the NFL. I think MVP of the Senior Bowl, and the numbers aren't staggering, but the fact that he was healthier than he was while he was trying to get on the field and help the Tigers, he may end up, being a third or fourth round pick, not a third day pick, and maybe higher if there's a team that likes him. So I was happy to see. I didn't see the game, saw the highlights, but I was happy that Garrett Nussmeier was named MVP of the Senior Bowl. But the Senior Bowl is not what it once was because of portal and
not all the best players go there anymore like it
well, it's
used to
kind of
be.
like the Pro Bowl in the NFL. Half of the guys are not Pro Bowlers, but they got to start calling people like, "Hey, look, so and so couldn't make it. Oh, no, neither could he. Neither could he. Can you? So, anyway. So, yeah.
No, I mean, if you're a surefire first pick, a lot of times you either don't go to the Senior Bowl, or if you go, you do the practice or something, or you just do the interviews. It's all watered down, and it's not the same, but still, bittersweet seeing Garrett Nussmeier out there doing good things. Happy for him personally. Obviously, the fact that he gave of his time to come to play 2 years in a row in our Baton Rouge Rougarou Baton Rouge Youth Baseball Coalition golf tournament. We appreciate him and respect him. He had the knee injury starting the season in August. They kept that under wraps. Remember, Coach got in
Coach
trouble for
Kelly leaked
talking
it
about
out.
that
Yeah.
publicly. Then he had the oblique injury. That shut down his season or eventually shut down his season. And so we didn't see Gary Nussmeier. We saw a shell of himself. And the reality is, the stone cold reality is, an injured Garrett Nussmeier is on a. You can say it's good or bad. You could have probably found a way to win 9 games with Garrett Nussmeier, and you'd still have Brian Kelly as your coach. And you'd
Well,
still be on that track. Or
I
you
think
can just
LSU.
have
Yeah.
7 wins, and now you got Lane Kiffin as your coach.
Yeah, so we'll see, how that goes. But yeah, you're right. It could be the world could be a lot different if he didn't have a knee and an abdominal injury, as they called it. Ronnie, do we have a date yet for the Rougarou golf tournament this spring?
Now that's something that we're working on here in the next couple of weeks with the
Okay.
island. So we'll
I
have
didn't
that
mean
for
to
you.
blindside you with that, but
Yeah,
yeah,
no,
but I'll certainly be there, and I might even play this year. Last year I was just giving away some Tremonti's meat and seafood stuff, but might go ahead and play this year and get Mike Tremonti to come give away the Tremonti's stuff.
there you go. Well, anyway, glad to see Garrett doing well. Congratulations to him on picking up those MVP honors over at that game. All right, TK, tell us about Court Street Cafe as we close up today.
Well, breakfast, lunch, dinner, Saturday night, steak night, the Sunday brunch is a big thing here in Port Allen. You need to check it out. Jason and the staff do a super job. Hit them up on Facebook and Instagram. They do a great job with their lunch specials. They give you the whole week, dinner specials, dinner of the week special, drink specials, whatever it might be. Court Street Cafe, we've been coming here for a while. Many of you have tried it. Everybody loves it when they try it. If you haven't done it, there's your assignment. Get on over here for breakfast, lunch, dinner. Come get a cold beer in the afternoon or daiquiri, whatever you might want when it warms up. Court Street Cafe, Port Allen. We've been here for a while. And we appreciate Jason and all the folks here. Hey, don't forget to like and share this show, whether you're watching on Facebook, X, or YouTube. Give us a like, give us a share. We appreciate it. We're back Wednesday morning for another episode of Sports Shorts Daily. On behalf of Ronnie Rance, Jason, and the staff here at Court Street Cafe in Port Allen, I'm Tommy Christ saying hello, February. Have a happy Monday, everyone.